Are you holding a small fortune? That tiny 5 new pence coin in your drawer might be worth thousands, even hundreds of pounds. We're diving deep into the top 5 most valuable and rare UK Elizabeth II 5 new pence coins ever discovered. These aren't just everyday coins, they're hidden treasures with fascinating stories, minting errors, and skyrocketing values. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about your pocket change, we'll reveal the surprising worth behind these British gems. Stick around, you might just uncover a rare coin jackpot. We're diving deep into the 1970 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin, a rare and elusive coin minted during a turning point in UK currency history. Some of these coins contain ultra-rare minting errors and secret production quirks that have sent collectors. To understand why the 1975 new pence coin is such a valuable treasure today, we have to rewind to a defining moment in British numismatic history: decimalisation. In the late 1960s, the UK was preparing to transition from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a more modern decimal currency system. And in 1968, ahead of full decimalisation, in 1971, the 5 new pence coin was introduced, replacing the shilling. Off-centre strike error: minor off-centre 5% to 10%, £30, £80. Major off-centre greater than 15%, £100, £300, or more depending on eye appeal, and percentage off-centre. Die clash error: light die clash, £40, £100. Strong die clash with good detail, £150, £300 plus. Planchet or metal error: minor surface lamination, £25, £70. Major peeling or separation, £100 to £100 plus. How to identify a rare 19705 new pence coin? Here's what you should look out for in your coin jar, old proof set, or inherited coin collection. Key features of the valuable 1970 era coin: look for 1970 on the obverse front of the coin beneath Queen Elizabeth II's portrait. Finish: if the coin looks like it's circulated but has a proof finish, it may be a rogue strike. Errors: check for misalignment, double images, unusual color or composition, incorrect edge, weight. Errors struck on wrong plankets will weigh slightly more or less than the official 5.65 grams. Sound test: the ring of nickel brass is distinct if the sound seems dull. It could suggest an experimental metal. Pro tip: have the coin professionally evaluated by NGC or PCGS. Certification can turn a maybe worth £1,000 into a solid £100,000 plus windfall. Record sales and auction legends. Let's talk money. Cold, hard, hundreds of thousands of pounds. Auction highlights: a reported proof-like 1975p with circulation signs sold at private auction for nearly £100,000 in 2015. Another, believed to have an off-metal strike, was appraised by a top London numismatist for £150,000. Collectors from Dubai, Hong Kong, and New York are known to bid furiously for British rarities, and the 1970 era 5p is on their radar. These sales aren't just about coins, they're about prestige, history, and bragging rights in the ultra-elite coin collecting world. The mind-blowing story of the 1968 Elizabeth II era 5 new pence coin, a small coin with a royal mystery, a hidden history, and a jaw-dropping price tag that has stunned the numismatic world. To understand how a 5 new pence coin could be worth a fortune, we need to rewind to a historic moment in UK currency: the decimalisation of British coinage. In 1968, the UK was preparing for its largest currency overhaul in centuries: the transition from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a streamlined decimal system. The 5 new pence coin was introduced as a replacement for the pre-decimal shilling. It was made of cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, weighed 5.65 grams, 23.59 millimeters in diameter. Mule error obverse: £100,000 to £200,000 plus. Wrong planchet error struck on silver: £80,000 to £130,000. Off-center strike: £500 to £3,000. Double strike or flip over double strike: to £1,000 to £5,000. Mirror blockage: £20,000 to £60,000. Auction sales record and value: to £100,000. So, how does a humble coin meant for everyday purchases skyrocket to a 6-figure price tag? Let's break down the key factors that elevate this coin's value. Extreme rarity: fewer than 10 known examples of the rare 1968 5 new pence era coin are believed to exist. Some versions have only a single verified specimen. Historical significance: as the first decimal era 5p coin, any major error from this year is historically significant. The fact that it occurred during the debut year of the denomination makes it even more valuable. Grade and condition: Coins graded MS67 or higher by NGC or PCGS can fetch staggering premiums. A flawless strike with strong luster and clean surfaces can double or triple the coin's value. Auction provenance in 2021, one 1968 5p mule error sold privately for over £130,000. Another example, with the silver planchet anomaly, was estimated at £200,000 to £80,000 private collector-to-collector sale, though the full details remain closely guarded. How to identify one in your pocket? Most people assume they'll never come across a rare coin, but error coins often go unnoticed, even by collectors. Here's how you can inspect your coins. Use a 10x magnifying glass or coin loupe. Look for misalignments, ghostly mirror images, or design abnormalities. Check the weight. Error coins may weigh slightly less or more. Listen to the sound. Coins on silver plankets produce a distinctive ring. If anything looks unusual, take your coin to a professional grading service or numismatist. You could be holding £100,000 or more in your hand and not even know it. We're talking about one of the most elusive and rarest coins in British numismatic history, the mysterious and nearly mythical 1971 era UK Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. A coin that collectors across the globe are willing to pay jaw-dropping. But what makes this tiny piece of metal so incredibly valuable? To understand why the 1971 5 new pence coin is so valuable, we need to rewind to a very important moment in British history. On February 15, 1971, the UK officially transitioned from the old pounds. The 5p coin featured a crown thistle design, symbolizing Scotland, and bore the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machen. The coin had a diameter of 23.59 millimeters, weighed 5.65 grams, and was made from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Off-center strike error, minor 5 to 10% off, £20 to £50, moderate 15 to 30% off, £60 £150, major 40% or more to £100 plus. Double strike error, minor doubling, £30 £100, severe visible doubling, £150, £300 plus, blank planchet or wrong planchet error, blank planchet not struck, £20 £80, struck on wrong planchet wrong metal, size, weight, £200, £500 plus. Shocking sales and auction records. Let's talk real money. You're probably wondering, has anyone actually paid six figures for a coin like this? Yes, and it's happening more often than you think. In private collector circles and specialist auctions, verified 1971 5p error coins have sold for £15,000 for a clean off-center strike, £45,000 for a dramatic double strike, £88,000 for a coin struck on a blank mint for a foreign denomination, and a mind-blowing £146,000 for a silver planchet error authenticated by a major grading service. Even online marketplaces like eBay and heritage auctions have seen ungraded, but suspiciously rare 5p coins listed for £50,000 to £100,000, with bidding wars erupting and coins being sold within hours. How to identify the rare 1971 era 5p coin? Now comes the most important part of the video. How can you tell if you got one of these ultra-rare coins in your collection? Step-by-step guide. Check the date. Look at the obverse, the side with the queen. If it says 1971, you've passed step 1. Look for anomalies. Turn the coin under a bright light. Do you see anything strange? Off-center edges? Blurred or doubled letters? Misaligned portrait? Missing rim or strange coloration? Test the metal. Rare versions were struck on a silver planchet. Silver coins will have a slightly different ring when dropped on a hard surface. You can also use a precious metal tester or take it to a coin dealer for analysis. Measure the weight. A standard 1971 5p weighs 5.65 grams. If your coin is heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong metal or planchet. Compare with known graded examples. Look up photos of known rare error coins from certified grading companies like NGC or PCGS. Match details closely. The most valuable error coins in British history, the 1978 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. This is no ordinary coin. It's ultra rare, accidentally created, and now turning heads at auctions and thrilling collectors across the globe. Before we dive into the juicy errors, let's talk about what the 5 new pence coin actually is. Introduced in 1968, the new pence was part of the UK's transition to decimal currency, which officially launched in 1971. These coins featured Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machen, and on the reverse, a crown thistle representing Scotland, designed by Christopher Ironside. The 5p coin of 1978 was one of the later issues before the transition to smaller 5p coins. Wrong planchette error, £150,000 to £150,000, depending on clarity, weight, and preservation. Off-center strikes. £80,000, £120,000, depending on how far off-center and whether the date and queen's head are visible. Double strike or rotation error. £70,000, £100,000, especially if both strikes are clearly visible. Misaligned dies or clipped plankets. £50,000, £90,000. Auction sales and real examples. So, has one of these actually sold for hundreds of thousands? Yes, and multiple times. Though exact records are scarce due to the private nature of high-end numismatic sales, auction houses like Spink, DNW, and Bonhams have seen these coins fetch well into the six-figure range. Example: a 1978 5p struck on a foreign aluminum blank was reportedly sold privately in the UK for over £200,000 in 2021. The coin weighed less than 3 grams, and its unusual silver-gray color caught the bear's attention. Example: an off-center strike with full visible date and crown was auctioned at £125,000 after a fierce bidding war in London. Example: a coin collector in Scotland reportedly found a 1978 5p with a double die obverse and was later offered £90,000 by an overseas. How to identify one in your change? You may be wondering. How would I know if I have one of these? Here's what to look for. Checklist weight: your 1978 5p standard is 5.65 grams. If yours is drastically lighter or heavier, that's a red flag or green light. Check the alignment. Flip the coin. The queen's head and the reverse crown should align top to bottom. If they don't, it's a rotation error. Inspect the edges. Are there odd cuts or a missing section? Could be a clipped planchette. Look for doubling, especially on the queen's portrait, the word Pence, or the date. Unusual color or luster. Aluminum, bronze, or goldish tones indicate wrong metal errors. If you find any of these signs on a 1978 dated 5 new pence, do not clean the coin, get it graded immediately. We're diving deep into the unbelievable world of British coinage, the 1979 Elizabeth 5 new pence coin, where one mistake, one tiny minting error, turned a basic pocket coin into a six-figure fortune. This is not just numismatic, this is history, rarity, and jaw-dropping value. Let's go back to the late 1979s, a time of change for British currency. The UK was preparing for decimalisation, an overhaul of the centuries-old system that confused generations with its pounds, shillings, and pence. In 1968, the Royal Mint introduced the 5 new pence coin, modeled closely on the traditional shilling. The coin featured a cupro nickel composition, weight 5.65 grams, diameter 23.59 millimeters, auction records and collector demand. Let's talk numbers. These coins aren't theoretical. They've shown up in Sphinx auctions, London coin fairs, private European collections. Notable sales: 2019, a wrong planchette 5p error graded MS66 by NGC sold for £255,000 at a closed-door auction in Geneva. 2021, a double-struck 1979 5p with full visible doubling went for £275,000. 2023, a proof-like 1979 error, the only one of its kind ever graded by PCGS as BR67, sold for £350,000 in Dubai. Why so valuable? Because they're unique. Some of these errors are one-of-ones. How to identify one in your change? What if you have one of these? Here's what to check. Step-by-step coin check. Date. Confirm the coin is dated 1979, unknown error year. Weight. Use a precise digital scale. Should be 5.65 grams. If it's off, it may be a wrong planchette. Size. Should be 23.59 millimeters. Any deviation can indicate a strike error. Surface quality. A mirror-like finish could mean a proof error. Double strikes. Look for shadows or doubled letters, especially on Elizabeth or the Queen's portrait. If you suspect you found a candidate, get it graded by NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company, PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service.